Welcome back. Man, what a wild winter storm just slammed southern Ontario, especially the Greater Toronto area. This thing was no joke. It dumped massive amounts of snow, basically turned the whole city into a winter wonderland, or a total nightmare, depending on how you look at it. Picture this: neighborhoods completely buried under feet of wind-whipped snow, streets impassable, and travel grinding to a halt. Emergency crews were stretched super thin, dealing with pile-ups and stranded drivers everywhere. It was one of those storms that just kept coming, relentless and intense. Snowfall totals were absolutely insane. Downtown Toronto got hit with around 61 centimeters. That's over 2 feet. And at Pearson Airport, they measured about 46 centimeters in a single day, smashing the old record for the snowiest day ever there. This storm pushed January 2026 into the history books as the snowiest month on record since they started keeping track back in the 1930s. So why did it get so crazy?
Look how high up the snow comes to the door. Oh my gosh. There's no more stairs.
Meteorologists say lake-enhanced snow bands were the big culprit. Cold air swept over the relatively warm waters of Lake Ontario, picking up moisture and dumping it right over the city in these narrow, super heavy bands. It was like the lake was feeding the storm, cranking up the snowfall rates to 5 to 10 centimeters per hour in spots. No wonder it felt endless. Folks were out there battling it all day, shoveling driveways and digging out cars, only to watch the wind blow it right back in. One guy summed it up perfectly. "Not sure if I'll even get all this shoveling done today. Trying to get the cars out, got a bit cleared, but it's still coming down hard." Another person pulled up to their place and just went, "Holy crap, look at how much snow we got. There's my deck, and the barbecue totally buried." Travel was a mess, zero visibility at times, buried road lines and collisions everywhere. Highways turned into parking lots, public transit got slammed, flights canceled, and schools shut down the next day. If you were out driving, it was white knuckle all the way. But hey, even in the chaos, people were keeping it real. One driver heading home said, "It's been one of those days, folks. Roads are bad out there, but man, I'm just happy to be heading home safe."
In the wood.
You wake up and look outside, and the snow is piled right up to the door. The patio furniture isn't just covered, it's completely buried. We are dealing with a record-breaking event here. Local news is confirming 60 centimeters of accumulation, and it's still coming down. The impact went far beyond just driveway shoveling. Air travel faced massive disruptions. With runways blanketed and visibility near zero, flights were grounded, leaving passengers stranded and creating cascading delays that rippled through international networks. What was fascinating was how the storm picked its targets. We saw dramatic contrasts in the accumulation. The neighborhoods right next to the lake were buried under extreme depths, while areas just a few miles inland saw significantly less. It highlights just how localized and uneven these heavy snow bands can be. On the ground, the city struggled to keep moving. Public transit systems fought a losing battle against frozen equipment and blocked tracks, forcing most commuters to just stay home. School boards across the region closed en masse. School boards cited unsafe travel conditions and impossible bus routes, with no clear timeline for when the roads would be safe again for students or staff. Municipal authorities immediately activated emergency response measures. They prioritized the major corridors and critical infrastructure, while practically begging residents to stay off the roads and respect parking bans so the plows could get unobstructed access. And yet, amidst all this chaos, the human instinct for routine kicks in. You've got someone in the house actually asking if we can make a run to Tim Hortons. But then, you open the door. You look down and realize there are no stairs anymore. The snow is piled higher than the threshold. That's the moment reality sets in. Nobody is going anywhere today. Talk to the residents here, and they all say the same thing. They can't believe how fast this escalated. We knew snow was coming, the forecasts warned us, but the reality on the ground completely outpaced the models. One minute the streets were passable, and the next they just vanished beneath the drifts. It happened across multiple neighborhoods simultaneously, leaving people with almost zero time to prepare. Cities like Toronto and the surrounding communities were left scrambling. The snowfall intensified so rapidly that it overwhelmed the infrastructure, leaving transit and emergency services struggling just to keep the basics operational. You look over the fence and it's the same story everywhere. My neighbor's deck next door, gone. Just a giant pile of white. It makes you realize this isn't just a local squall. This storm was part of a massive continental weather pattern, slamming huge portions of North America all at once and paralyzing transportation networks across the board.
My neighbor's deck next door too got the same. See, his all piled up.
That's why the advice changed from drive carefully to simply don't drive. If you don't have to be out here, don't be out here. Don't come out of the house. You look at the public transit stops buried in drifts, and you have to ask yourself, how are you even going to get on the bus? But this is also where you see the human side of the storm. You see the resilience. It's hours of exhausting shoveling, neighbors helping neighbors dig out, and people cooperating when the city simply can't keep up. It's hard to clean this much snow. It tests your endurance and your patience. Even after the snowfall eased, the challenge wasn't over. Crews were left fighting compacted snow and underlying layers of ice, while the freezing temperatures made sure nothing melted. Traveling, whether you're in the city, the suburbs, or out in the country, remained hazardous for days. I'm trying to get going here, but honestly, I think I'll see my deck again in the spring. If this breakdown gave you a new perspective on winter storms, please hit that like button. And more importantly, share this video with someone who drives long distances, lives in a cold region, or works in emergency response. These are the stories we need to hear before the next alert goes out. I'll leave you with one final question to think about. When the next major storm hits, will our systems just bend, or will they break all over again?